Okay, so when I saw the trailer for Brandon, a Russian-American science fiction-esque movie, I saw a lot of weird creatures in the sky. It seemed to be they were controlling people. That that is an aspect of this film. It's a very, very small amount of this film. This film is pretty much about advertising. And then sooner or later, a person actually develops the ability to see entities, aliens. It's kind of left ambiguous. But every time you go to a restaurant, or you believe advertising, and you consume the food, and you enjoy the food, and you create kind of a quasi-emotional connection with the food that also has a certain amount of physical component to it, you are essentially allowing some sort of weird birthing creature attached to you that is identical to the alien entity force brand. Yep. So there's one thing that looks kind of like Ronald McDonald's sock. Like clown face, red and white body. That's associated with one brand. So if you're a big fan of that brand and you enjoy that brand, you might have this weird clown sock thing coming off the back of your head. And the brands are also sentient. So like if a brand goes bankrupt, it's kind of devoured by its competition in a very, very literal sense. What I was hoping for was going to be something a little more visceral, but when you first start to see the entity things, they look very Seussian. Not good Dr. Seuss, it's bad Dr. Seuss. Like, really poorly done CGI Muppets. I do get the premise. I do think it's a good idea. It's the idea of, that essentially advertising is this massive force onto itself. And if you talk to people who do advertising or marketing, a tremendous amount of money gets thrown at people whose whole job it is to make you buy their product and believe everything that they say to be true. So they, in essence, could be the ones lying to you, but it doesn't matter because in your mind you believe them to be true. Whenever you see a commercial and you're like, you know what, I believe everything that commercial tells me. Someone else comes and tells you something else and they're from a rival company, and you're like, you know what, I don't believe you. Because I believe the other company more. When every company's primary goal, of course, is to make money. But certain companies, people look at them better than other companies. That's like Microsoft and Apple. Some people absolutely hate Microsoft, absolutely love Apple. Other people are not fans of Apple products and love Microsoft. Other people are not fans of Apple products and are like, you know, Microsoft is the company that makes things that I use. Do I love them? No, but they're the company I find to be the most helpful. So that's kind of this film somewhat in a nutshell. You know, the idea is really rock solid. It's a great heady concept. I think that if they would have tweaked the way they did the reveal of the advertising alien entity, cartoony bad, like 5th grade CGI project, this film probably would have been a lot better. But it does these things in a way that is so not subtle. Early on they have a campaign that says, you know, like, fat is the new fabulous. With the short-term focus being, you know, people don't like fast food because it believes to make them fat. If you can make fat the new sexy, the new attractive, people will eat fast food because it's the fastest way to become fat. It's like, okay, now look at advertising now. There is definitely a more push for a more realistic-looking person. Whether that person is considered overweight or obese, basis whatever sort of scale one happens to use, that is what is currently being pushed as the new norm, even though in actuality it's the current norm. And if you were to go back in time and look at old paintings, you would see that, you know, what was considered a beauty back then entirely went away for a couple of decades. That'll probably make its way back. You know, interesting concept for a film, differently done, but just a poor, poor execution towards the end.